Hello once more everybody, it's Ahmed. I'm back again to continue playing Zap, the Spriggan Wizard, poorly named Spriggan Wizard that I started last time. Those of you observant might notice this is not exactly where we left off after part 2. I apologize for that. At one point I forgot that I was actually let's playing this particular character and played a little bit on his record. As you can see, however, nothing has significantly changed. I'm still level 12. I've only cleared out basically another floor or so of the lair, and it was pretty basic. In between then and now I have learned something really helpful, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this, and this is about skill specialization. Recall that the last two videos, part 1 and 2, were much more oriented to first timers. Now we're going into we've gotten past the early game, and this is the stuff where I generally die as much as the next person. Hitting M to pull up this menu, there are levels and degrees to which you can focus your skills. I didn't know this because it's only been added in version 0.9.1, which is what we're playing currently. Note the hotkeys, slash, pipeline, star, exclamation mark, etc. Normally the way that skills work is the more you use a skill, the more it gets trained, and that's great. But sometimes you want to train a skill despite the fact that you're not using it, or you want to funnel all of your experience into gaining just one thing. If you switch to manual mode, you get to choose exactly what gets upgraded and what doesn't. And I'm going to hit exclamation mark as well for the view. Instead of showing me how much experience I've gained towards the next level, it now shows me where my experience is going, what's it getting dumped into. You might notice these are brighter white. That's because I've chosen to focus them. Turning on the focus option with pipeline lets you set a skill at 0, 1, or 2 levels of focus. Spellcasting at 16 I would say is pretty solid. All of my spells at this point are hungerless, so I don't need to be raising my spellcasting anymore at this moment. I'm going to turn it off at level 16 and focus on buffing the actual damage it does with conjurations, as well as the accuracy with which I attack. Stealth, 5 levels of stealth is enough. When I start throwing around higher level conjurations, my stealth isn't going to be helping me. Really, I would rather funnel more experience into dodging for survivability, so let's narrow my scope even more. Okie dokie. As you may recall from where we last left off, I had recently memorized a few new skills, and I had Animate Skeleton as well as... oh, I don't have Animate Dead yet, just Animate Skeleton. So I'm in a good way with regards to farming meat shields, bringing them to my side, as well as attacking my enemies with Isikundurun's Magic Blast, my favorite second level spell. Let us begin crawling once more. Do I have poison resistance? Yes, I do. Okay, good. Yeah, it's been a while since I played on this record. Actually, give me just a moment and I'll do that. Okay. I see a lot of rats. I'm not terribly concerned about them because they are, after all, rats and I have plenty of mana, but I'm going to be cautious because this is a good run, and the best way to screw up a good run is to play too fast. Alrighty. Again, notice that Mephitic Cloud is a very effective tool for crowd control. Like in situations like this, I can... actually, this would be a great spot. There you go. Now everything that's not adjacent to me is in the cloud, and now everything that is adjacent to me is in the cloud. Also, because undead have natural immunity to poison effects and cold and necromantic effects, I can basically attack with Mephitic Cloud directly on top of them and they'll take 0 damage, which means that, you know, my own horde of the undead is mostly immune to my attacks. Okay, actually, I'm going to turn on the sound. I have an add-on that lets me add sound effects when I play, and I find that to be very, not particularly different, just nice to have. Let's see if that works. There we go. Okie dokie, looks like I cleared out that little coven of rats. It's not a coven, is it? It's a group. And, let's start bringing the dead to life. So, with the old system for experience, my constantly summoning the dead would have been raising necromancy higher than level 4, which I don't want because I don't plan to multi-class in necromancy. But with this manual mode, is 0 experience, as you can see, is going to necromancy, and that's how I want it. It's not a very necessary skill for, at least given the spells I have. Maybe if I come across a good tome, I might change my mind later. But for now, I'm dealing all my damage with this. Let's keep it that way. Ooh, what is that? It looks like this is the shoals. Now, there are a few different dungeon branches that can appear within the lair, and actually, I'm gonna have to focus here because these guys could very well kill me if I'm not careful. First, I'm gonna order all of my undead to attack this direction because I don't want them to block my line of sight. Thus far, nothing seems to be attacking me, and that's good to know. Now, somebody mentioned this in one of the comments, and I do feel like it bears mentioning. When a creature that you have summoned, or that you have confused, deals damage to somebody else, you don't get full credit for the kill. You only get like half credit, which means you get half as much experience, etc. Not a huge deal if you play the way I do, where the vast majority of my kills basically are me dealing damage, but notice that I do have summons, so at times they do the kills for me. I mostly use my summons so that when something like this happens, I have this option to hide behind my allies. And if they all die, well, it's not exactly like I worked for them that hard, and they can mob things for me like that. Problem is, I don't get full experience out of that. Not a huge deal for when your main method of dealing damage is by yourself. Huge deal for if you play a character like a summoner, where the vast majority of your kills are not going to come from yourself, but from the creatures you've summoned. And as you can see, it's nice to have this little cloud of allies, because I don't have to think nearly as much about basic survival. Okay, this black mamba could kill me. I'm out of mana is the problem, otherwise I would like to take credit for this kill. Well, there's nothing for it. That's the other thing, it's gonna eat away my support, because I'm fighting it in a corridor like this. Oh, there we go. It's taking enough damage that it's running now. And when we have it on the run, my mana will regenerate by the time I catch it, is kind of the plan. Assuming that its health doesn't regenerate because it hides, which it looks like it managed to do. Oh well, let's make some more undead armies. Notice that I generally am opening these salvos with basic magic darts, and if they're not doing enough damage, I'll switch to Isekundrun's Blast. Mostly, at this point, both of the spells are hungerless, so the real difference is damage output and amount of mana used. If I were to lead with Magic Dart, oh, hang on, what's my armor situation? I already have a +1 hat. If I were to lead with Isekundrun's Blast and miss once or twice, I still have something to fall back on, in terms of just escaping. Versus if I open with Magic Dart and I deal less damage, I can just retreat because I can avoid the fight more easily. So really, it's just a matter of, if there's one enemy, open heavy. If there's multiple enemies, open light, so you have the option to escape. And, you know, knowing what you're fighting is important. Okay, looks like I cleared this floor. I'm just looking through my books to see what I have to memorize that I haven't memorized yet. Ooh, some very good spells available, actually, in this Book of Annihilations. And for those of you who don't know, hitting capital M brings up this menu. So, Orb of Destruction is pure conjuration, which is nice. It's a ridiculous amount of damage, which is nice. It's a little bit hard to aim, though. because unlike most moves which, you know, go out on one turn and hit on the same turn, this thing has to travel and hit its target, so it's possible to walk around it. Still, there are times against certain targets where it's perfect. And Poison Arrow, that is irresistible poison damage, which is really nice. It deals damage to any living thing, and I think dead things too. I need to see the hunger, though, because I'm more curious about the hunger that would be induced by me getting Poison Arrow. Honeycomb level isn't so bad, and Orb of Destruction, Honeycomb level isn't so bad. Okay, I think since I have 25 spell levels, and I don't have a top tier damage spell, I have first tier, and this is like 2.5 tier damage spell. It's not level 2 or 3, it's level 4, but it's still not fully up there. It's time to get a higher level damage spell. So, Poison Arrow it is. Ouch. And again, following the better to have and not need than need and not have logic, I should memorize Orb of Destruction. I still have 12 spell levels left, so it's not like it's gonna lock me out of another good spell. And it is an absolute top tier damage spell. Besides, I have plenty of other junk here that I can get rid of now. Like, I mean, it's not junk exactly, but I'm not going to be needing, repel missiles anytime soon. Not with the ability to blink. At least I hope not. We'll see. Whoopsies. Giant Slug. Giant Slug has too much health for Dart to do anything. I'm going to have to go straight to Secundrun's Blast. Actually... Alright, that's that for this floor. Now, the reason I'm searching out corpses and skeletons is because if I carry a few with me, you'll notice that I'm overloaded right now, which is generally not a good place to be. You can't even ascend a staircase when you're overloaded, and you take penalties to your hit and all. But you can descend a staircase with them. So the idea would be descend the staircase, drop these guys, and I have minions ready to go. So, drop. And there you go. Now, because you can't have your undead, you can't have your other undead allies follow you down the floor. So just make some new ones on the floor below. And it looks like I'm getting swarmed by snakes. Man, that one mephitic cloud got me several kills from rats killing each other. So now you may notice I'm just unloading with my top damage spell because I fully intend to go upstairs the moment I run out of mana. That's why I'm not leaving the staircase. But since I won, I'll make myself some allies first, and then I'll go. Go. Okay, so several allies. I'm gonna go ahead and get my mana back and something. Yeah. Spiny frogs are possibly not the most. Hydras are the most dangerous, but spiny frogs are one of the most dangerous enemies you'll fight in the lair in general. They are resistant to poison, which means they can't just be mephitic cloud and ignored. They are very strong enemies, and they have very high speed. They can catch up with you and beat you up. I'm going to immediately start using Secundrun's Blast and just try and nail it before it's too... Yeah, there you go, before it does anything to me. Without a Secundrun's Blast, often runs in the lair, those are like lair Sigmunds for me. I have to run from them and avoid them until I get a Secundrun's Blast hitting me. That was stupid. So I should have remembered, you don't attack the age 8 snail until there's nothing else on the screen. It takes a lot of damage to take down. It regenerates, so you can't whittle at it, and it'll drain all your mana, and if you don't get a kill out of it, it's kind of a waste. So now I'm just going to retreat to a corner, get my mana back. What is my food situation? Ouch. So food is rare thus far in the dungeon. Elephant slugs are worse than than age 8 snails, so what I said about not attacking it when there's other things, yeah, double for this guy. I'm going to focus down the boring beetle because that's something else on the screen before backing away. This is the plus thing about snails, is they are slow. Very slow. And it looks like my minions decided to try and take it out for me. Since they're so slow, you can, attack them at your leisure. There's pretty much never a good excuse to die to one of those things. But my god, my hunger status is not good. I'm getting really hungry frequently. Drop some stuff so I'm at least not burdened. Man, I've seen some runs where I've never found a wizard's hat in the entire dungeon. I found like 3 this run, plus the one I started with. That's Crawl's random number god for you. Sometimes it just hates your guts. Yay! This looks like an entrance to the swamp, and the swamp is one of my favorite places, my favorite sub-branches. The different sub-branches that can appear within the lair are the... You can get the swamp, the shoals, the snake pit, and I vaguely recall, yeah, the slime pits. And of these, the slime pit is, in my opinion at least, one of the most scary / dangerous. You can get mutated very easily in there, and all your equipment can be downgraded pretty easily if you don't have very high enchant status or artifact status on them. Throw in the fact that slimes in general are pretty difficult enemies to deal with basic attacks. I mean, you don't want to attack them in melee, but they're resistant to poison and thus mephitic and a bunch of other stuff. And really, it's just a nasty place to be all around. Okay, this one hippogriff skeleton has already killed 2 or 3 major enemies for me, which has been very nice. And remember, I wouldn't have had it if I hadn't taken the time to collect his skeleton before descending a level. So, again, 1 more vote for doing that. I don't think you can resurrect these. Yeah, you can't resurrect vampire mosquitoes. Oh, I don't have enough mana to deal with this guy right now, so I'm gonna lure him in and then tell all of my minions to attack. And there's 2 of them, so that plan is gonna fail too. Yep, I'm in trouble. I should try to escape at this point, I think, because I have no mana, half health, and there's more of them than I can deal with easily. Actually, I have a potion of magic. I'm just gonna quaff that. That way I don't have to retreat, because these guys are too fast for me to simply retreat from. That's all but 1. This one is the one that's gonna kill me, huh? I'm using my darts and my magic darts because I have +2 steel darts. Alrighty, there we go. Barely survived it, but I did survive it. And this is the thing, even though it looks like I was pretty lucky there, I could have blinked or teleported away. I just don't want to waste my very precious escape route until, you actually have to. Is there a reason I am not gaining health back very quickly? Because my health is taking dear sweet time. Oh, I was sick, that's why. Yay, new book. Boo, nothing of it. Ooh, fireball. Fireball. I should let you guys know I have a weak spot for Fireball. I adore that spell, and in any incarnation, in any game, I have a desire to be the guy who's hurling gigantic fiery death at things. I'm probably going to hold off on using it, because, you know, I don't really need it right now. I already have, oops, not ability. I already have Secunda runes, as well as my top level spell, Poison Arrow, which I should actually put. But it's good to hold around for later. The thing about Poison Arrow is it's not actually an elemental spell. I mean, it's elemental in that it's benefited by having poison talent, but if you have no poison, if you have poison resistance, it'll still pierce that. Actually, that's a good point. Since I'm gonna I have Poison Arrow and Mephitic now, that's a good reason to start specializing in magics. Poison magics. Now, I entered the swamp. This is not, generally speaking, the most obvious move to make, because, well, the sub-branches are pretty much all harder than the actual lair. But I'm in the mood to try and clear out, not the whole of it, but, you know, the first level or so. The things you want to know about in the swamp for sure are these alligators should never be fought while they're in water. They gain ridiculous bonuses to everything, like movement speed, attack speed, etc. And so attacking them in water, well, let's just say that you're not going to win the fight. You might not lose, but you're not going to win unless, you know, you'll win at severe personal cost. You might as well just back off and do that to them instead. Oh my god, that was a baby alligator. Yeesh. Yeah, my strength is definitely not high enough. I need to find some way to buff my strength sooner or later. If I have Wand of Cold, I don't need Wand of Frost. Oh, I'm holding an alligator corpse, that's why I weigh too much. Oh my god, I'm being swarmed by these things. I don't want to leave the staircase, but if I descend again, I'm going to be attacked by 3 alligators at once if I go up. So my plan is I'll go up, but next time before I come down, I'll be sure I'm invisible or something. Oh wow, and that was one attack from a baby alligator, and it nearly killed me. Yeah, these things are scary dangerous. I'm gonna blink. I don't trust this guy not to kill me if I do anything else. And it's on me. Yeah, I can't escape from it. I really can't escape from this thing easily. I can't guarantee that I'll confuse it in one turn if I hit it with Mephitic, and it can probably kill me in one turn. What I'm going to do is attack it with my top level spell, try and kill it in one turn. Orb of Destruction has an area effect, so it will hit me as well, so that's no good. So we'll go with Poison Arrow instead. Okay. Mephitic. It is now poisoned and probably going to be confused in one turn. And dead. Whew. That was terrifying. Now that was just one of these suckers. Remember that there are 3 or 4 of them ganging the entrance. This is why you're not supposed to enter the swamp or any of the sub-branches until you've cleared out the lair. Because by then you have your best chance of having your abilities as upgraded as that you can get them. The only real ironclad rule is never enter without poison resistance, and as you saw, I was already attacked with poison twice by that swamp dragon, just literally the moment I entered. If you get attacked by like a Mephitic Cloud equivalent, poisoned and then confused, and you're wandering around... Ah, crap. Okay, I've fallen. I'm 3 stories down. I have enough food, and apparently there's a Minotaur on this floor, so if I find his lair, I should probably risk it. but this is just not where I want to be right now. These two can take me out. I don't have a scroll of fear, that's what I would like to use, but I'm going to initiate a teleport because I don't trust that these guys won't kill me. Yeah, see, that's what I was worried about. I'm going to heal. And I killed them both. Okay, poison arrow is more powerful than I remember, and it's pretty damn powerful. See, they haven't noticed me, and I need to get on that staircase to get out of here. Because I'm just not powerful enough to deal with that floor. Clearly, I mean, I need at least some place to retreat to get my mana back, and I don't have that. I would like to have some kind of entourage to protect me, and I don't have that. There we go, this is better. These two skeletons will definitely be good bodyguards for the remainder of this floor. Notice how much less scary these crocodiles are when they're not in their element of water. They don't have +5 speed, they don't have massive to hit bonuses, so they miss you a lot, and you know, you can beat them up comfortably. And they don't have a whole lot of resistances. But you fight them on their own turf, my god, they transform into these Spriggan eating super machine thingies. Ah, elephants. I remember the first time I saw these guys, I was sure they would be the scariest things I ever fought in Crawl. But, you know, just magic blast them, and then back off. Or did I say magic blast? I meant Mephitic Cloud, and then back off. Pretty much anything that's vulnerable to Mephitic Cloud is like 100 times less scary than anything that isn't. You may notice that I get mana back from killing stuff now. If you haven't, well, pay attention. That's one of the many benefits of worshipping Behemoth as a conjurer. You get bonus to range, you get cool books, and you get, I should probably not stay here where I can be attacked by 3 elephants simultaneously. I mean, it's just not sensible. This is, you may notice I'm getting really cocky right now because of how powerful my spell casting is, and that's not smart. I should retreat. Okay. So far, so good. I'm not yet back from how far that shaft dropped me down, but I'm getting there. What was it I just picked up? Something new, I forget what. Oh yeah, a ring. I can't tell you how many times I've lost characters because I put on a ring without testing it and it turned out to be a ring that killed me. So since then I've always been much more careful about doing that. I'm gonna go with Ring of Magical Power instead of Ring of Protection for Magic, because that's going to boost my MP a lot, and that should be nice. I also have a Ring of Wizardry now, so I should be able to memorize spells above my level. If I put that on. It's not a big deal yet. There are not a whole lot of spells that I'm interested in. Ooh, Controlled Blink. Yeah, I'm not going to manage to get that ready anytime soon, but that'd be nice. Anyway, Book of the Warp is of no interest to me. Maybe sometime later on in the game I'll want it, so I'll keep it here, but the beauty of the Lair is these items aren't going to get destroyed anytime soon, especially if you bring them up to like the 2nd floor, where the jellies don't spawn. Starting to get the feeling that my magic dart is just straight up not hitting some of these tougher creatures. I don't know the formulas for to hit on it, but I'm guessing that probably it has a cap out point, and I'm getting past that now. I do not want this to go on much longer. There we go. You're between me and my staircase. You don't want to stay between me and my staircase. Alrighty, summon myself a little army, retreat. There we go, I'm back to where the shaft dropped me out from. Now watch this. Black Mamba, right? Severely poison immune and all that. I'm going to use Poison Arrow on him. He is deeply poisoned and severely wounded. That's how freaking powerful Poison Arrow is. And you saw that beautiful range? Courtesy of Vehumet when you get high enough piety. So at this point my character is strong enough that in theory I should be able to clear out, you know, with care and caution of course, I should be able to clear out another couple floors of the main dungeon, maybe even uncover the vault at this point. But I don't have to do that right away. I'm still training my skills. I want my power to be as high as I can get it before I actually attempt that stuff. If this had been, say, a Kenku or an high elf or somebody with better aptitude for magic, my magic skills would be much higher level. Since Spriggans have like -3 aptitude to conjurations, which is really, really bad, my skill progression is a lot slower. You'll recall that when I said at the beginning, this is a video that was definitively for people who can't get to the Ecumenical Temple. And only now that I've managed to survive so long am I kind of being like, alright, forget that, now this is for, you know, for the lulz, see how far I can get. I stress that I make these spiny frogs look less dangerous than they are, because I now have all the spells to deal with them. When you first encounter a spiny frog, if all you have is magic dart or throw flame or something, be very, very scared. And if you're a venom mage and all you have is like sting, don't even engage. Just think how you're going to escape, because you're not going to kill it. It's like a slug in terms of how much damage it will soak up from low-level damage spells. And it's completely unlike a slug in the fact that it will chase you down and it will kill you. Oh, it's the dragon I retreated from earlier. Notice that when I have my mana and I have a good control of the screen and I know I'm not going to get flanked, I'm not as scared of a single dragon. I can always just blow it away with a high-level conjuration spell. It's when you don't know where you are or what you're doing that, you know, it pays to be more cautious. Oh, is that a staff? Yay, god gift. My god likes books. I like books. This looks like an ice book. I could get lightning bolt so that I can hit large, you know, lines of enemies, because right now I don't think I have any AoE style attack except of course Mephitic Cloud, which is less of an... I mean, I guess I have Orb of Destruction too. I'll hang on to the book. Definitely a lot of useful stuff, but nothing I want right now. What is the Staff of Power? Oh wow, Staff of Power is once again massively increasing my mana capacity. I'm overweight now. I need to increase my strength by 1. I guess I'll do that next level up, but for now... Whoops. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop something just so I can ambulate. Let's drop... I guess the books are what I really want to store. I'll drop all the wands for now. I know I'm going to come back and pick them up. And let's go to the Lair, floor 2, which is where I like keeping my stash. That was not the right command. Of course, it did reveal a few more interesting items, which I'm more than happy to pick up before I move on, including yet another staff, this one being a Staff of Earth, which I have no interest in compared to this. Lair 2. Alrighty. Where did I just come out? Oh, there's my stash. There are better ways to find it than that. I just prefer it being the first place that you'll automatically go to. Well, let's drop all the books. Do I have a pile for books already? Good. And now that I have them all in one place, I can get Venom Bolt nicely. Teleport Other would be a great, in a pinch survival spell. Iron Shot is kind of... I already have Secundurun's Blast, so no need for it. I don't even know what some of these are. What is Maxwell's Silver Hammer? Spell becomes lethal but temporary if filled to a crushing flood. Oh, okay. It helps hammers be more hammery. Oh, whoa, did I see dig? Okay, I'm going to memorize a dig prospectively, or at the very least bear it in mind, so because when you invade the Orcish Mines, having some means of digging is kind of key, and now I know that long term I will have that. I'm not going to carry the Staff of Earth, I'm not using Earth stuffs yet. Potion of Berserk Raid is useless to me at all times. Potion of Restore Abilities, actually, given the risk of me getting crushed to death, I should probably hang on to that on my person. Potion of Healing and Resistance. Drop one Potion of Healing, but keep the rest. Protect from Magic, Wing of Wizardry. If I make a tactical switch... Oh, Scrolls, that's what I can drop next. Scroll of Amnesia can stay. Scroll of Enchant Weapon can stay, because I don't need it in a pinch. Same with Enchant Armor. Same with all except one Detect Curse and one Remove Curse. And I should always save one ring of one scroll of Identify. It's not like, oh, I already have 4 on my pile. Whatever. Okay, what else? Because you have to remember, every single one of these things is adding to the fact that I keep going overweight, and that's not a happy place to be, Spriggan or otherwise. I'm gonna drop some of my teleport scrolls and some of my fog scrolls. Well, keep the fog scrolls, because there's always a risk of them being burnt up, and I don't want to be out of them. 3 of them is plenty. 2 teleports should be enough for me to get away from most stuff. Whoa. I've never encountered a snapping turtle before. Probably because I don't usually go to the shoals, and it clearly just came out of them. I am, however, terrified of this creature because, again, I've never seen one before. It is not immune to Mephitic Cloud. It is very hardy because I've been using nothing but my top level, my, Secunduruns. Still don't have any way of casting Cold or Fireball unassisted, so I will carry both of those, and Draining is always nice, and Slowing can save your life in a pinch, so we'll keep all of those. And I've never zapped these, and I already have a Wand of Slowing. Actually, we'll keep the fully recharged one on hand. And we're getting very quickly to that point where it's not grinding exactly, because as you can see, near-death situation happens all the time, but the game is becoming much more straightforward. I don't want to draw aggro from the Hydra and the Komodo Dragon at once. I'm going to attack the Komodo Dragon, then retreat upstairs. And how right I was. I mean, look at how much damage it does in one hit. It's dead, though. And there's a Hydra, like, guarding the door to the downstairs, so I'm going to go through a different door. And cast Recall. Get my allies nearby as fast as possible. because having a griffin on your side can help your cause a lot. Even if it's a dead one. Even if it's dead, that's funny. Don't want them damn things blinking all the time. They blink while they're confused? That's messed up. It's so nice to have so much more extra mana thanks to both the ring and the staff of power, that at this point I'm literally just able to open with my higher level spells and keep using them. I'm going to attack the Hydra and kill it. I don't even care. Start with Poison Arrow and go down the list from there. Ha! Fear me. Though that did take half my mana, so, you know, if it had been that and a Komodo Dragon, I would have felt less confident. Yay, another staff! I do believe there is a Staff of Conjuration somewhere, and that's kind of the staff I ultimately hope to get. This isn't it, however. Another ring, another ring. That's pretty much useless. +1 to evasion is not really going to make a difference when your evasion is 26 and you already are leveling that skill. Speaking of leveling that skill, 11, 6, 12, I'm happy with this spread. I could drop dodging at this point if I really wanted to and focus on dealing more damage. In fact, that probably is a good idea, but I'm going to hold off. I'm still leveling Poison Magic, which is a kind of a minor school. Honestly, it's probably a bad move, but I'm not sure what else to do. Since I'm going more of this generalist route with various conjurations instead of just focusing on one school or the other. This is when Vehement's I give you back mana when you kill stuff really shines. Every time I'm getting a kill, I'm getting back 2 or 3 mana, which is enough to recast the spell that last killed something. So if I, say, have to use 2 Sequindrune's Blasts for 8 mana, then I get back 4 mana every 2 turns, and it gives me a lot more sustainability. Not to mention I'm also getting back however much mana I would normally. Now, if I recall correctly, the floor after this, the one that I fell into, had a Minotaur lair somewhere on it, because, you know, you heard a distant snort or whatever message played. So I'm going to be very careful when I approach this next floor. It's distant snort from here, no sign. God knows where it is. I don't want to spend more turns on this floor than are absolutely necessary because I do want to try and get into the Minotaur's lair. Do I have a cloak yet? Yes, I do. A damn good one. Deathyaks are surprisingly dangerous. One-on-one, you know, they're fairly powerful. They're never one-on-one, though. They always come as a group. And they can gore you and deal serious damage. As you can see, in one hit, it took me down to just about over half health. The reason I didn't back up is because the odds of him pulling that off again are almost 0, and if he does, I can still retreat because, let's say it all together now, I'm a Spriggan and I'm really freaking fast. Poison Arrow works like a charm, man. Okay. Now we're looking for the Minotaur's lair. We're trying to cover as much ground as possible, as fast as possible. I doubt I'm gonna find it. I'm just not getting lucky this round. Okay. Nothing on this lower half of the level. Trying to recharge my massive stores of mana. testing what this wand is. It's a wand of digging. I'm going to save that for later. It's a very precious wand, but I don't need it just now. Oh crap, I forgot this place. And this is the worst possible place for me to be right now because I can't get back upstairs without dropping that first. Wow. Did I just level up? Oh sweet, I'm level 13 now. Oh, great. You know what? Fine, just kill the Hydra. Again, do not ever attempt to attack a Hydra face to face. They're deceptive because they do almost no damage until they touch you. Then they kill you. And even if, you know, it's... The problem with Hydras is sometimes when they attack, they get a few misses and you feel really, really good about yourself because it's like, hey, I just attacked a Hydra, I hit his head and I didn't die. Then the next time, one of their 10 attacks, or whatever many heads they have, will crit, and you'll wish that you hadn't, you know, you just made good on your many options to attack it from afar. If you're a dwarf or some melee class, you often will have no choice but to attack it head to head. But if you're playing one of those classes, you also probably have the means of dealing, you know, more damage and all. Also, never attack them with something sharp and pointy. I'm sorry, I've never seen a dire elephant before. And I'm just kind of impressed. Heh, I'm gonna back off. Wait until I have more mana. I'm giving up on finding the Minotaur's lair at this point. It just isn't going to happen by the looks of it. Not in a timely fashion. And the problem with the lair is that it disappears. But you know, you may notice I have like no mana, so I'm making a retreat to the staircase. Partially because the staircase means I can retreat upstairs, partially because this is where I know I'm safe. And you may notice the last thing I did before I went upstairs was to recall everything to my side, so that when I go back down, the Komodo dragon has 4 targets instead of 1. I don't really care if he kills my allies, as long as he doesn't kill me. I mean, my allies are pretty much undead zombie skeletons anyway. Ooh, the slime pits. My least favorite sub-branch. So yes, earlier I was talking about the sub-branches that are available in the dungeon. In the lair. The slime pits, one of the scariest, more dangerous ones. A lot of mutation capability. Even entering that one is kind of more trouble than it's worth half the time. The swamp is relatively straightforward to beat compared to the other ones. Definitely one that I'm usually happy to see come up. The snake pits contain some very powerful creatures, and at times will even contain like super powerful orcs. Yes, orcs in the snake pits. But ultimately, it's straightforward enough if you have solid poison resistance and a good set of spells. Well-rounded set of spells, or attack. I've beaten it with both melee characters and magical characters before. This is a bad place because I don't have the mana. I'm going to retreat and bring my allies... that's the wrong button. Bring my allies with me, so that they don't all get killed while I retreat. It's amazing how much easier it is when you actually have mana. To be like hurling Issekundrum's blast casually. I desperately need to improve my food situation though. The next thing I'm going to do, once I hit the bottom of the lair, like once I clear this floor, I'm going to find the Hive pronto. If any of you haven't seen the Hive before, and I managed to get there, you're in for a treat, because it's just an awesome place, in my opinion. It's one of my absolute favorite branches, because it's so easy and so much fun. I take that back. It's not easy, but 9 out of 10 times, if you were able to get to it, and if you follow the order I have and clear the lair, you are more than powerful enough to deal with it. lady. Wow, more death yaks. Like I said, these death yaks do not come alone. They come with friends. And not the fun kind of party guest that you like either. No, no, no. Mean friends. Friends with big horns that try to kill you. They also weigh like 100 units or whatever, so you can't even pick them up to take them downstairs. This is my second Book of Earth, which means that I can now effectively forget dig for free if I choose later that I don't want it, so I'm going to memorize it. Just drop it. See, in order to forget a spell that's in a book that you've memorized to get the spell levels back, you have to sacrifice the book. So, not something you want to do, you know, whimsically, but in this situation I have 2 copies of that book, so I can make that tactical choice, you know, whenever it's necessary. To be honest, I have never run out of spell levels to memorize something I wanted to memorize in any game I've played. Mostly because once you attain your first few spells, you have enough of a set to be getting on with. Okay, if he shoots a fireball here, he could light this entire place on fire, and a forest fire is very difficult to deal with. So I'm not going to give him line of sight without being able to farm first. And there's that dire elephant of ours. Let's see what he's made of. Poison arrow, and basic attacks. Okay, he's not as... his bark is a lot scarier than his bite. Reading that description freaked me out more than it should have. I guess if more than one had attacked at once and I had no mana, it'd be different. But... if I can kill them before they can reach me, they're not so bad. My food supply is precipitously low. Okay, that's it. We've cleared out the lair. That's right, we have literally gotten to floor 8, which is the bottom of the lair, killed everything in between, cleared all the floors, and discovered the slime pit, the swamp, and the shoals. Of these, the swamp is the only one that I've ever cleared before successfully, so I know what to expect, and there are like 3 alligators guarding the door. I'm not going to attempt to... enter the swamp until I'm sure I can deal with 3 alligators at melee range and not die instantly. In fact, I should actually probably just put travel exclusion on it so that I don't forget later on. But whatever, I'll, you know, do my best to remember. Most likely what I'll find is a potion of invisibility somewhere so I can be invisible when I enter the floor, step to a safe distance, mephitic them, and then go from there. Oh, fucking Maurice. I hate this guy so much. I literally just opened up with one of my more expensive spells just to make sure he didn't have a chance to become invisible and steal all my money. And now we're back clearing out the dungeon again. So, as I said before, my priority right now is to find the Hive. I'm going to hit Control O for information and see... Hive will spawn between 4:11 and 16, so anytime now it could show up, but it might not show up for a while. Also, be advised that some of the enemies that spawn now are much more dangerous than the enemies we've seen before. Of course, some of them are repeats like this guy, but it goes either way. Oh, come on. Wow, normally I would have been out of mana almost right now, but because I have so many enhanced mana items, I'm able to just sustain this way more than normal barrage, so I don't even have to retreat nearly as often. Whoa, there it is. There's the door to the Hive. The scorpion poisoned the giant for me. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to pick up a hill giant's corpse on my own, but it was worth a try. Alrighty, let's regenerate some mana and then head to the Hive. This is what you see a lot of in the Hive. Open spaces with a ton of these bumblebees and the equivalent. They can poison you, some of them can paralyze you, and they're all very fast. If you have poison resistance and are a Spriggan, only half of those are an issue. Don't forget that you are not faster than a bumblebee. They can still catch up to you. That said, Mephitic Cloud works great on them. They may be poisonous, but they're not resistant to poison at all. Which lets me become this shining pillar of death. Whoa. Oh. I guess I still haven't found Animate Dead anywhere. Do I have the money for that? Animate Dead makes this a cinch because you can resurrect the dead corpses of the bumblebees to fight for you. Normally I would have that, but in this case I don't. And without skeletons, I'm not going to have any meat shields, and meat shields make this a whole lot easier. So what I'm going to do is hug the staircase, basically, and be safe. Because I'm not comfortable with my food reserves. I do want to clear out the Hive soon. Now, how did that happen? It had said I had explored the floor, but now I'm here. Reason is because these floors aren't always connected, quite like the Orcish Mines, so it pays to go up staircases and then down again. Remember, there are always 3 staircases up and 3 down on every floor. They may not lead to the same geographic location. So, fully exploring is, you know, when you can tell that there's obviously more, it's worth finishing the job. I mean, not that time, there was nothing valuable there, but there might have been. I'm literally going to hit T and then T again just to shout a few times to try and attract them to me, because I don't want to get surrounded. I don't have a lot of ability to escape. I don't think I even have a scroll of fear anymore. Oh, another staircase. And again, I'm making a bigger deal out of this than it is. The Hive is possibly the easiest sub-branch of all of the branches in the game. It's easier than the Lair, the Crypt, the Vault, etc. As long as you have poison resistance, you'll be fine. So why this nagging feeling that I'm going to die here? Oh! Okay, Haunt is one of the best spells in the game if you're a good necromancer, and the Grand Grimoire is one of the most precious books in the game, period. It's like the Book of Annihilations. But I'm a conjurer, and I don't have the ability to branch out into that anytime soon, so I'm not going to go that route. It's a shame, too, because that would have been very nice if I could have made use of it. This little honeycomb shape is probably full of bees and bee larvae and eventually the queen bee. The problem isn't that I can't kill them. As you can see, I can kill them just fine. The problem is I don't get my mana back fast enough. So if they decide to surround me, I could basically find myself trapped with no mana. And what do you call a wizard with no mana who's at melee range and being surrounded? Dead. But so far so good. I mean, they're not really able to touch me. And my... Oh, you know what it is? I have all of those plus mana items, so I'm not running out of mana nearly as often as I would have. It's hugely important. I mean, it's hugely helpful, and you don't even realize it half the time, but yeah, it makes a big difference. That was another shout to try and get their attention. I got some of the larvae. There we go. Shouting seems to be bringing them out. Trying to empty the hive a little bit. Now I could be Mephitic clouding these guys, but it's much easier to just use a Squindren's Blast and kill them. They're not... Mephitic is much more at this point for protecting myself from swarms of them. Now picture how cool this would look if I had like a horde of 20 bees on my side. I think I got the queen's attention. Let's see. Man, these guys just don't give up. The reason I'm fitted in there is because I couldn't see how many more were coming. And I'm attempting to go deeper so I can grab this book. So that would have held off reinforcements a little. I think I already have this book. Invisibility is too high level. The good news is I'm getting a lot of cool books here. The bad news is nothing that I really want or need. Then again, it's not like I really need anything specific. Gathering these is much more like, you know, prospectively. Later on in the game when I need to like pick out something, I should be able to make that choice. Ultimately, if I train my conjurations high enough, I should be able to cast good cloud spells. And this is where I show the fact, you know, that I'm not particularly good at this game. I haven't beaten the game before or anything. A higher level player than me might be like, you need to be speccing out for something, you need to be building up your ice or your fire or something. I don't know that. I'm just playing. Okay. I'm turning off auto pickup because there's so much stuff in here that I just can't physically hold it all. And for those of you who've played this game a lot and have gotten to the Hive, this is gonna be obvious, but I'm certain at least a few people who are watching this haven't. And this is the Hive. When a Spriggan gets here, they can pretty much stop worrying about hunger for the next 10 floors of the dungeon, because look how much food there is here. It's just a ridiculous amount. I still haven't found the queen bee. There she is. Now that she's dead, there's like pretty much nothing here that has any shot at threatening me, which is great. As long as I don't run out of mana. So I'm going to finish clearing the Hive out, and then take stock of just how much beautiful food I have on this floor. The reason I confused the shark is they have a habit of retreating the moment we deal enough damage to threaten them. I didn't want him to get away. There it is! The Hive is now completely searched, and if I look at food, you can see that there's literally that much good stuff in here for me to eat. And because I'm a Spriggan, I get bonuses from when I eat stuff. It's worth a lot extra, so that should last me not until Doomsday exactly, but for a long time. Pardon me a moment. So, that's effectively going to end my hunger issues for a while. The question becomes now where to go next. I could push another floor deeper into the dungeon. I could attempt the swamp. I think what I'm going to do is attempt the Orcish Mines, actually. that's the next big target in terms of getting gold. Once I have more money, I should be able to buy a couple nicer spells if they're there, or at the very least equip my character better, because as of yet I still don't even have, like, you know, any random artifact or good armor. In fact, what have I missed armor-wise in this dungeon? There's a glowing robe that could be valuable that I didn't get yet. That I should check, but other than that, there's nothing. Again, you notice how I'm using the Control F search liberally at this point, and it's helpful to not have to think as much. Oh yes, this is another great place to set up a stash. There's no risk of bumblebees coming and starting to use your precious items in any way, and that's always really nice. Let's just take a little bit more food with me. I'm going to save some of the royal jellies. You'll get the pesky respawn like that, but it's nothing that you can't handle. I'm going to take a few of these. And I don't like being burdened, so I'm going to drop something more. Not sure what yet, we'll see. I guess enchant weapon is not necessary. Lose another remove curse. That'll do for now. I have more food on hand than I normally would carry around. There's no reason not to, though. Alrighty, so let's see then. Orcish Mines? No, wait. First things first. Where was that glowing armor? That's more my first choice thing. At this point, I'm not in any risk of running out of food by walking too much. I'm more at risk of running out of piety. Oh yay, cold resistance. I like cold resistance. And so, while it's still not advisable to spend forever walking around, it's less of an issue than it was before. Here it is. Now, I almost forgot, and it could have killed me if I did, but you always want to have your wands of digging with you when you attempt the Orcish Mines. The Orcish Mine is notorious for having disconnected passageways that don't lead to where they say they'll lead to, and I actually once starved to death inside the Orcish Mines because I fell into a shaft in a place where it wasn't possible to get out again, and I didn't have the ability to dig my way out. You can imagine how pissed off I was to lose a character that way. I should have known better. I mean, I risked going there without the ability to dig myself out, but from then on I was always more cautious whenever I enter the Orcish Mines. I've already memorized the dig spell, which is good, but because I have near zero competence at it, there's a good chance that it won't work nearly often enough. Alrighty, and do I have a Staff of Earth anywhere? I do. That could help my dig spell eventually, so I'm going to get that too. And let's eat a piece of honeycomb just to try and bring my satiation up a little. And while I'm here, I'm going to read a scroll of enchant armor to boost my new robe. I have the wand of recharging, that's good. Teleport blink. I don't suppose there's any fear in this dungeon. Alrighty, off we go to the Orcish Mines. Alrighty, floor 2. Baal, how much I hate you. That cluster should kill themselves nicely for me. The other thing that's nice to bring with you is the scrolls of mapping, if you remember to, or if you have them available. Okay, it's already like getting to evening here, so I'm going to stop at this point and pick up the video later. I'll be honest, I fully expected my character to be dead right now, but he is living, and that's wonderful. This has been a pretty successful run even by my standards. I'm going to save, and hopefully I will see you guys soon enough with the next part. Once again, to glance at our skills, for those of you who are keeping track, poison magic is quite devastating now as Conjuration is coming up. I'm actually going to lower poison magic to just basic training now, because Conjuration is where it's at. Everything's hungerless except top level spells, and I don't even have to worry about hunger nearly as much thanks to the Hive raid. Alright, I'll hopefully continue this some other time. Later.